flesh and blood doesn't make you related. She used to tell me a story about the amazing glaze. Him and your pops was like brothers, but that nigga was crazy. Me and early late.
Killed 3 people and wounded 10 others in a nightclub shooting over the weekend.
They believe that shootout stemmed from a gang-related dispute. Our Kirsten Cole live on the scene this morning with the very latest on the investigation and what the city is now saying about this. Kirsten, good morning.
Good morning to you, Dan and Hazel. 42 shell casings were discovered here at the scene of the shooting. They continue to work this. They are also exploring whether or not some of those victims were among the shooters themselves as they continue the hunt for these killers. Terror erupted at 3:30 on a Sunday morning inside a Crown Heights club. Patrons fleeing to save their lives as seen on surveillance cameras outside. Cops say 4 shooters fired inside a crowded lounge on Franklin Avenue known as a taste of the city. 911 calls flooding in as 3 men fatally shot, 13 victims in all. The wounded seen stumbling to the sidewalk outside the club. Friends left to frantically try to find each other in the chaos that erupted.
Man, I just saw sparks. When I looked in the direction I thought the gunfire was coming from, I just saw sparks, and I just went to get down under a table if I could and sneak my way out. I just ran for the door. I tried to make my way to the door and try to live to see another day, basically.
That club goer wanting to stay anonymous. Police saying a gang-related dispute inside the club sparked the gunfire. 4 shooters firing off more than 40 shots. Police say a 9mm and .45 caliber handgun were used in the shooting.
There was a dispute inside the crowded club that led to the shooting. We believe that there were up to 4 shooters involved in this incident. At this time, no one is in custody, and the shooting preliminarily appears to be gang-related.
We, unfortunately, will have to mobilize a mass shooting plan. This is the second within weeks, and we don't want this to turn into a normal course of doing business of violence in our city.
In all, 3 men were killed, ages 19, 27, and 35. 3 women among the gunshot victims, ranging in age from 27 to 61. They were all taken to local hospitals and are expected to survive, 1 arriving by private car. And the police are still controlling the scene inside and outside of the Taste of the City restaurant. They are also urging anybody who was there that night, who saw victims fleeing, who may have seen anything at all, to share that information with them as they continue to try to piece together exactly what happened, how this erupted, and most importantly, who pulled the triggers. We're live in Crown Heights. I'm Kirsten Cole, Pix 11 News. Back to you, Dan and Hazel.
Okay, Kirsten, thank you for laying all of that out for us. Appreciate it.
On August 17, 2025, a mass shooting occurred at the Taste of the City Lounge in Brooklyn Crown Heights neighborhood, resulting in 3 deaths and 14 people wounded. The incident, which took place around 3:27 a.m., stemmed from a gang-related dispute involving up to 4 shooters who fired 42 rounds using 9mm and .45 caliber firearm. The deceased was identified as Marvin St. 19, Jamel Childs, 35, and Amadou Diallo, 27. St. Louis and Childs was suspected gunman who initiated the shooting after a confrontation, while Diallo was an innocent bystander. The 14 surviving victims ranged in age from 19 to 61. Sustained non-life-threatening injury and was treated at local hospital. A firearm was recovered near Bedford Avenue and Eastern Parkway, but its connection to the shooting is unclear. No suspects are in custody, and the NYPD is actively investigating with Mayor Eric Adams calling for public assistance to prevent them saying retaliatory violence. This event, despite occurring during a year of record low gun violence in New York City, marked the second mass shooting in the city within weeks. Hey folks, look at this, right? Here it is. They speaking about people that was there in that crowd between the age of 19 to 61. You know, one 19-year-old, may his soul rest in peace, was killed. Then you got a 27-year-old, may his soul rest in peace, was killed. And then you got a 35 years old. Like, to me, And I'm just scratching my head. What is a 19-year-old hanging out with a 27, 35, 61? And you know what, folks, like I say, what we have to do is be aware of our surrounding. But besides that, I'm an old man. I'm like 90 years old. I don't want to be partying with a bunch of kids. Because once again, anything can happen. You step on my shoes. You bump into me. You accidentally waste my drink. So regardless of what the situation may be, right now is me, I party. When I party at home. I party at home when it's safe and it's peaceful and I don't have to worry about that bam, 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 bam. Hey, like I told you, may the victim, may they soul rest in peace, their spirit be lifted. And my deepest condolences to the family and all that's involved. Peace, love, and prosperity. Hit the like button, subscribe, share. I am the real Brian Glaze Gibbs. If I can change, anybody can change. One love.
Associated himself with probably the most ruthless and notorious cocaine crack enterprise in the city. That being Howard Pappy Mason and Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols.
NYPD rookie police officer was murdered, executioner style. And as I'm listening to that, I'm like, whoa.
You actually dealt with Brian Glaze Gibbs, huh?
I dealt with him years ago, back in the 80s, early 90s. I was with he was arrested by my partner back in those days for several murders himself.
Not bad. I was given to me by a police officer in New York called Matt Byrne, whose son was gunned down by these drug dealers up there in New York City.
Glaze was probably within the top 10 people in the city, but I'm going to say that he was probably one of the top 2 or 3 in Brooklyn. Drug dealers and controlled the drug organization.
And you know what I did? When I got the phone, I told my man, the next time we see him, he's out of here. Yeah. Less than 12 hours, that nigga was dead.
Yeah,
Is this the second person you murdered?
No. Because, like right now, if you're going by the timeline, by that time, there's a few more before him.
I heard so many good things about you. What I really like is, I know you're a tough guy. And I've known that for quite a while, and you changed your life, and you're coming around, and you're right. We're from New York, and we're New Yorkers. No matter what color you are, no matter what religion you are, no matter what you are, we're New Yorkers.
Well, he was a drug kingpin himself. He was a drug lord himself back in those days, and he operated out of Brooklyn, East New York, and he committed a lot of violent acts himself. So, if anybody knows the streets, he knows the streets.
Tottenham. Yeah, you gotta worry about them guys. But we only have to worry about those guys in Vanderveer and stuff. We all knew Glaze and Tutton, all those guys.
Yeah.
I know Glaze, Supreme Team. What up, Glaze? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, inside the mind of the killer, the Brian